Hey, Sherman Ragland, and welcome to another life-changing Real Investors Workshop. So glad you guys are here with me today. Real quick, we are here because my big promise to you is I'm going to show you 3 simple steps to getting a 6-figure income in the next 9 months, working from home, part-time. But this is a Real Investors event. We begin our events with a prayer. Please join with me. Dear Lord, we thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to come together, to work together, to grow together. We just ask you to just continue to have your hands on our businesses, on our families, and our lives, and the loved ones. And we just ask that we be a reflection of you in all that we do. In Jesus' name, amen. So 3 simple steps to getting a 6-figure income in the next 9 months, working from home, part-time. Who's interested in that? If you're interested in that, go ahead, raise a hand, give me a thumbs up, tell me that you're in the right place. It's kind of like the airlines. It's like we want to make sure you're on the right flight before we leave the gate. And if this is not of interest to you, this is the time to click away. I'm going to go for about an hour. Then we're also going to have a half an hour questions and answers. So 90 minutes all in. I want to make sure that we leave the gate on time, leave on time, get finished on time, and that all of your questions are answered. So who's in on getting a 6-figure or building a 6-figure income in the next 9 months, part-time working from home? Which of course means if you have a day job, you can do this too. I built my business basically working from my home office in my basement in our old house. I met the woman of my dreams almost 25 years ago. I had a little 2-bedroom house in Old Town Alexandria. She had a 5-bedroom house out in Bowie, Maryland, 2 kids. I had none. And so I moved out to Bowie, Maryland, and quickly established that the home office was going to be downstairs in the basement. And that's how and where I built my 6-figure real estate income. Now a 7, now 8-figure real estate empire. But before you get to the empire, you also have to build an income. And I built it part-time from my basement office, working roughly about 2-3 hours a day. And that's what I want to share with you. So real quick, why should you stay with me? Why should you stay to the end? Because we're giving away one of the brand new iPhones. Yeah, who's in? Who's getting this? If you're getting this, say, hey, I'm getting this. This is a brand new iPhone. Of course, it's the new sort of slick packaging because Apple doesn't give you adapters anymore, but there's a whole lot better adapters anyway. But we're giving one of these away at the end. All you have to do is just stick around. Let us know that you're here at the end, and we'll pick somebody, one lucky winner. But I tell you what, Zephin, why don't we do this? Why don't we also give away one of these gorgeous, can you get a shot on this? Can you get a shot on this? It's not on, but we can get a shot on this gorgeous 86-inch TV. How about if we also give away one of these gorgeous 86-inch, what's an 86-inch? That's an 86-inch TV. Wouldn't that look great in your theater room or your living room, wherever you, or your man cave when football season is over, you start getting into the Super Bowl. So 86-inch TV, who's in on that? If you're in on that, let me see you type in the chat box right now, I'm in. Type in the chat box, I'm in, and we will pick one lucky winner from the people who respond with, I'm in. We'll just have somebody go through and say, hey, here's all the people who said, I'm in. And we're going to pick one lucky winner also at the end of the presentation tonight. All right, so stick around because you must be here to win. If you're not here, we did this before. If you're not here, when we give it away, we just give it away to the next person who typed in, I'm in. But to be eligible for the 86-inch TV, you got to type in, I'm in. Okay? So again, my big promise to you is we're going to talk about 3 simple steps to building a 6-figure income in the next 9 months, part-time from home. Now, what's so magical about 9 months? What's so magical about 6 figures? What's so magical about part-time and from home? Well, what we're talking about is building full-time income on a part-time basis, which means you don't have to quit your day job. You don't have to drive for Uber. You don't have to sell off everything, sell off the family fortune and try to make your fortune in Bitcoin. You don't have to play the stock market by going to some day trading boiler room. You can do this. You can do this. I did it. I'm going to give you several case studies and examples of other people who've done it, mainly here in the DC area because that's where I'm at. I'm actually here in the Real Investors Academy in our Real Investors studio, which is located just outside Washington, DC. But we've had folks from Atlanta. We've had folks from Chicago. We have folks who are working with us now who are from Dallas. We have helped people all over the country. We even have folks from Sweden. Sweden, yeah. We even have folks from Sweden who are going through our program. So we've literally helped people all across the globe implement these strategies and implement this specific strategy that we're going to be talking about today. So who am I? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sherman Ragland. I am the founder and dean of the Real Investors Academy. Most importantly, I am a dad, I am a husband, I'm a child of God, which means I make mistakes, and hopefully I recognize when I make mistakes and apologize and move forward. But most importantly, a lot of folks have started to call me over the years America's Real Estate Mentor. I'm a member of the Forbes Real Estate Council. I have an MBA from the Wharton School of Business in real estate finance, which is one of the things I did when I first got out of school, not teaching, but actually doing commercial real estate. And I have a, I guess you could call it an executive JD, having gone through an online JD program. So I know a little bit about the law. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not here to give you legal advice. So big disclaimer, no legal advice tonight, no accounting advice tonight. You're just getting it straight up from a guy who found himself in a very desperate situation about 20 years ago, and he needed to find a way to make money fast, quick cash, or I was not going to be able to pay my bills. And that's how my story started. I'll share a little bit more of that with you in a second. But that story of just needing to have money quickly and having the rug pulled out from underneath me. I don't know if anybody here has ever had the rug pulled out from underneath you, gotten laid off from a job. That happened to me twice. When they say, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Second time I got laid off, I started my own company. I started a company doing government contracting, which is kind of the thing that you do when you're Washington, D.C. area. And I built it up from nobody, or I shouldn't say nobody, from one person, moi, to 25 employees and over $20 million a year, $24 million a year. And in one day, boom, it got snatched away from me. And I had some major bills I had to pay. I wound up being close to $1 million in debt because I was trying to keep people on payroll. I was trying to do the right thing. Sometimes doing the right thing gets very, very expensive, and you learn some very hard lessons. But for a guy named Steve, who I'll talk about in a second, I literally could have found myself sleeping in a cardboard box with my new family. Fortunately, this guy named Steve, you may have heard of him, his name's Steve Cook. He wrote a book called Life and Air out of Baltimore. Steve and I met at a meeting. This was before he wrote the book. This was before he was famous. And Steve literally showed me how to make quick cash by wholesaling my first house. Now, this is not real quick, this is not a workshop on wholesaling. This is a workshop on building a solid six-figure that you can then move to the seven-figure, if you choose to, basis business. But wholesaling, we will talk a little bit about that tonight. And if you're not familiar with the concept, don't worry about it. I'll explain it enough to know what you need to do next. More importantly, if you do know something about wholesaling, understand I'm not preaching wholesaling. I'm talking about building a solid six-figure business and the foundation for bigger and bigger things in your life. So again, my promise to you is that this is going to be a quote-unquote no BS zone. I am a licensed real estate broker. I started off in the world of commercial real estate before I flipped my first house, before I flipped my first contract. But I know a lot about real estate, and I think I brought a lot to the world of residential real estate because of my commercial real estate background. I'm a licensed real estate broker. I have close to 30 real estate agents here just outside Washington, D.C., in our office in D.C. We also have an office, or I should say I'm licensed. We don't technically have a law office because it's virtual, but I'm licensed in Virginia, I'm licensed in D.C., I'm licensed in Maryland. Through affiliate relationships and affiliate partnerships, we have licensing in Pennsylvania. And most importantly, I have a reputation that I have earned that I like to believe is a stellar reputation. So I'm not here to spin a bunch of BS at you. I'm here to teach you, hopefully in the next 60 minutes, how to build a six-figure income working from home in the next 9 months, and use that as a foundation to go on to bigger and bigger things. I'm a frequent contributor to Forbes magazine. If you come check out my website, shermanragland.com, you can see all that, but don't go there now because we want to get through our workshop today, and I'll be more than happy to share with you more about my background, but you're not here about my background. This is not about me, this is about you, and about you being able to take care of your family. Why should you listen to me? Because over the past almost 20 years, we've successfully trained over 1,400 students. As I've said before, we have students in Sweden, we have students in London, we have students in Akron, Ohio. We just signed up somebody in Shaker Heights, Ohio. We have students in Atlanta, we have students in Dallas, we have students in Chicago, we have a whole boatload of students in DC and Baltimore and Northern Virginia, but we have students literally all over the world who've gone through our programs, and as I love to say, checks don't lie. They don't. That's why we always take pictures with our students when they close deals or close transactions or form partnerships and have them share their successes with the rest of the group so other people can learn. And I have been teaching, training, and showing people how to do this for darn near 20 years, which is kind of interesting because I was not born an investor. It's actually nothing short of a miracle. When I was a little bit younger than my youngest son's 21 years old, but when I was about 17, 18 years old, I thought I was going to be a high school band teacher because I was, and I still am at heart, a band geek. And I was the geek of the geeks because I wasn't just in the band, but I played tuba. I played tuba in the band, and I think the tuba players oftentimes get labeled as the geek of the geeks, and that was me. And but for having a mentor outside my own family, now my family was always rooting for me. I'm not one of those kids who grew up that had to fight his own family just to survive. I know there's people out there, and I have friends like that out there, but that's not my story. But I was sort of on this path of becoming a high school band teacher when I met a guy. He was really sort of the first mentor I can talk about outside of my own family, outside of my own mother and father. His name was Jim Rouse. And if you're from Maryland, you probably know who Jim Rouse is because he's the guy that created Columbia, Maryland. He's the guy that created Harbor Place. And Mr. Rouse took a liking to me, and he convinced me that I should think about a career in commercial real estate. And he's the guy that really planted the seed. He's the guy that really sort of got me on the path. And but for one person, one meeting, one incident, nobody would ever hear about me. There would be no Realinvestors Academy. We wouldn't have 1,400 plus successful student success stories. I'd probably be off as somebody's high school band teacher, probably working part-time, a second job, because many of the people who were my teachers when I was growing up as a kid wound up getting part-time jobs as a bank and then ultimately got out of music altogether, because if you haven't heard, it's hard to feed a family of 2, 3, or 4, or 5, and if you count the dog and a cat, 7, on a high school band teacher's salary. And fortunately for me, 2 great incidents happened. One was the dean of the music school, came in one day when I was a freshman at Taos University and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have some very, very, very bad news and I have some very, very good news." His name was David Marchand, and I'll never forget it. And we were like, "Okay, what's the bad news?" He said, "The bad news is that the state of Maryland is predicting that there's going to be negative 15 high school band teachers across the entire state over the next 5 years." We're like, "Okay, that's pretty bad, because we just signed up, we just paid tuition, and we're here to learn how to become high school band teachers." He's like, "Yeah, it ain't gonna be no jobs for you." Of course, he didn't say that, that's me sort of paraphrasing. I said, "Okay, what's the good news?" He says, "The good news is that you are freshmen and sophomores, and you can do something about it. And I just had the same meeting with the juniors and seniors, and there's nothing they can do about it. They're screwed." My words, not his. "So get out of my office and go change your major." So the confluence of 2 things: one, being told there would be no jobs when I was a very young and sort of malleable or moldable condition, and of course having a mentor who took a liking to me personally and said, "Sherman, I think you could have a strong career in commercial real estate." So long story short, it's nothing short of a miracle that I'm even in here, but I've been doing this for so long now that I think you're going to find it hard to find anybody who knows as much about real estate and as much about the struggles of getting started in real estate and can teach you as well as I can. And I'll give you some case studies to back that up, so that's not just a bunch of puffery on my part. So if you're asking, is this real estate thing for me? I'm not sure I should do this thing because I've been struggling in it for so long. Like, is there anybody here besides me who's found yourself struggling to get started in real estate? I was struggling for almost 20 years before I finally got started. I kid you not. I took an interest in real estate when I was a kid. I worked in commercial real estate, but still didn't have any of my own deals under my belt. I was making other people rich. And it was probably about 18, 19 years before I got my first deal done outside of buying my own home. I'm very proud of the fact I bought my own home when I was 26 years old. But I didn't have any other investments in real estate until I was much older. In fact, it was right after the birth of my youngest son. Claire and I got married. I instantly had a family. I moved out to Bowie, Maryland. Dave came along about 1.5 years later, and it was the birth, his birth when I was in the birthing room, that my life suddenly changed, and I realized, hey, Sherman, it's time for you to grow up. I almost hate to tell that story. Like, well, you didn't grow up when you got married? Like, nah, I kind of grew up when, like, there he is, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to take care of this little guy in a different sort of way, in a deeper sort of way than taking care of, quite frankly, my 2 other kids, because their mom had been taking care of them as a single mom for years. They were set. This little guy comes along and I'm like, okay, we need to, like, you know, double down and, like, make sure that everything's, like, on the right path. And that was my sort of wake-up call that I needed to be a little more serious about my life and a little more serious about my pursuits. And so I had been struggling to do something in real estate, but literally after David was born, I'm like, I need to get on with this. I need to get serious about this. So if you're sitting there thinking, hey, is this going to work for me. Well, tell you what I'm going to share with you, the program I'm going to share with you, the plan I'm going to share with you in this workshop is simple enough for even a band geek. So if you're like, okay, can I do this? Yeah, you can do this. So let's just cut right to the chase. What's the problem that's really holding you back? Now, I know this was true for me. Like I said, I struggled for almost 20 years before I got my first investment deal done. And I have found over the years, coaching, mentoring, talking to a lot of people, that we all, no matter what walk of life, no matter whether you're a band geek or a tech geek, or we were, Mr. Freddie Football or the prom queen, no matter what, most of us, many of us suffer from the same thing. What is it? Well, my struggle was the fact that I had been told by my parents from a very young age that you need to go to school, get good grades, and then get yourself a good job. And once you do that, everything will take care of itself. And that worked great for my dad. My dad grew up in a dirt poor community. He was dirt poor. He, in his own words, played collegiate football, basketball, and ran track so he could get a hot shower and a hot meal every day. And he went ROTC because if his own family had to pay for him to go to college, it never would have happened. And so he is the embodiment of the American dream. He got out of college. He went to work for the military. He worked for the military. He was in the Army, made his all the way up to lieutenant colonel for 20 years, and then retired out on Friday, went to work for the federal government on Monday. And his story, by all recollection and all standards, was the American dream. But that American dream of go to school, get good grades, study hard, get a good job, that didn't work for me. I did study kind of hard. I was a B student, all right? But good enough to get a full fellowship to the business school of my choice, and I wound up getting in and getting through and graduating from the Wharton School of Business with an MBA in real estate and finance. So I knew how to study hard enough, but the job situation is nothing like it was for my parents. There was no employment for life. Every time I got into a job, it seemed like there was some upheaval and turmoil in the industry, and I find myself out on the street. And so after getting laid off, like I said twice, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. After getting laid off twice, I made a determination a long time ago that nobody would ever sign Sherman Ragland's paycheck other than Sherman Ragland. You got it? By the way, that's me, for those of you who don't know who I am. And I made a determination that I was going to become an entrepreneur and build a successful business. So I basically said, hey, where's the path I can use my talent? What doors can God open for me? And what turned out to be the path I chose to follow in that phase of my life was becoming a government contractor. Zeph, I don't know if you can bring the slide back up. And we became a great government contractor. That's a picture of me and President Clinton. That's a picture of me with Vice President Gore. There's a picture of me that ran in the Jet magazine. Those of you who know what the Jet, or remember the Jet magazine was, like that was the dream to be on the cover of the Jet magazine. So there I was in the Jet magazine. That was me getting accolades and awards for having created the Federal Communications Online Auction Program, which at last count has raised several $billion with a B. I think they're up to like $50 billion now by selling off the radio spectrum. In other words, FM radio, AM radio, cell phones. If you got a cell phone, which everybody does, that technology is made possible because the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, licenses the bandwidth to private industry and they charge them a fee. Well, we were the company. I was the company, because it was just me when we first got started, and then I hired a bunch of people. And we were the company that created the online auction program that's raised billions of dollars for the federal government. And so I spent the next almost 20 years of my life successfully building a federal government contracts business. And I absolutely positively loved the money, and I absolutely positively hated almost every day being a government contractor. Why? Because the federal government, and I can't speak for all government contractors, but the federal government has this unique way of saying, you did a great job, and your reward for doing a great job, Sherman, and you and your team, is you can rebid your contract, and we expect you to charge us half as much money and do twice as much work. Now, I don't know any business in the world where when you have a satisfied, successful client, they want you to do twice as much work for half the price. Maybe that's true in the tech space, but I just found that somewhat, call me arrogant, I found it offensive. My whole shtick is if I do a great job, right, then I should get paid more. And it was during that phase where I was like doing a government contracts thing. And like I said, I did it for darn near 20 years, and I was good at it. I was really good at it, but I was also miserable. I got divorced. I almost lost my house twice because I was diverting all the money into the business and not into paying my mortgage. I gained a lot of weight. It was really ugly. It was really awful. I love to say, well, I shouldn't love to say, I don't love to say, but I almost want to say, you know, I had 3 heart attacks, but I didn't. I mean, I did not let the stress of doing that job get that much to me, but it was pretty horrible, even though I had my own business. And I said, you know what, I need to sort of get rid of some of these contracts. And I got rid of all the contracts when they came up for expiration. I just didn't renew them. And I got rid of all of them and some of the people. Now, they still kept their job. I just sold the pieces of the company off to other places. And I kept the one contract I really loved. And the one contract I really loved was running the private jet terminal at National Airport, because we got to rub shoulders with the bigwigs. You know, John Travolta would come in. And I remember that time I was there with Denzel Washington, because when you fly private jets and you come to Washington, D.C., you're coming into our office space. And I'll never forget the time I was there with Oprah. I can't tell you about it because she won't let me, but it was wonderful until it wasn't. Some of y'all might remember an event that took place in this country on September 11th, 2001, called 9/11. And 9/11 is, of course, when, you know, 11, 12 crazy people flew planes into buildings, and a bunch of heroes took a plane down in Pennsylvania to keep crazy people from flying planes into more buildings. Well, one of the casualties, not like life and death casualty, but business casualty, and I'm almost ashamed to say it because there were people who lost loved ones that day. But one of the business casualties from that day was my business, because my business was running a almost $30 million a year operation with 65 employees at National Airport. And when 9/11 happened, that entire business got shut down on one day. No advance warning, no notification. This was not one of those we were doing a poor job and we knew we were going to. No, we had won the top award from Professional Pilot Magazine for 7 years in a row, being the best private aviation facility in the country. And that was not good enough to keep us from getting shut down on 9/11, and we did not reopen our doors for 5 years. And that was my only source of income. Like, I don't know if you've ever been laid off, right-sized, walked into an office only to be escorted out of the office, or been a part of a business that shut down or went bankrupt. But when your whole world, seemingly, it wasn't my whole world, but it was my whole business world, gets snatched away from you in one day, your first instinct is to say, this isn't fair. This isn't right. I worked hard. How could they take this away from me? But life don't care. My mama told me that when I was a young kid. Life's not fair. Get over it. And so I had my little pity party. You know, 9/11 was on a Tuesday. I had my anger moments. I had my grieving moments. I had my personal pity party that whole week. I went through all the emotions. But come Friday, I had to be a man up, and figure out how I was going to replace a $350,000 a year income from a business I had taken 12 years to create. And one day was snatched away from me. And I had about 30 days to figure out how I was going to replace that income. Fortunately, I had met this guy named Steve, and he showed me how to get my first deal done in as little as 21 days. And so all those years of suffering from indecision, suffering from not knowing what to do, being confused, trying this thing, that thing, going online and being told, do this, do that, watching videos, buying books, buying tapes, years of being led down a rat hole, multiple rat holes, that produced nothing. I had fortunately met a guy named Steve just before 9/11, thank God. And he showed me this technique. And he said, if you just focus on this one thing, Sherman, and get your first deal done. Let me tell you something. I'm pleading with you. If you are here tonight and you've been struggling to get something done in this real estate game and it's not working for you, stop doing everything and just focus on one thing. And that one thing is getting your first deal done, because nothing else matters. And I know there's people out there that got seminars and live seminars and online trainings on, how to do Airbnb, buy your first apartment, and do BRRR strategy. And there's websites, Bigger Pockets, Creative Investor, and all these other places you go. But all that's doing is confusing the hell out of you. If I'm right, put in the chat box right now, Sherman, you're right. I find myself very confused. I don't know what to do, and I'm tired of it. Just put, Sherman, you're right. Just type that in the chat box if you agree with what I'm saying. And it's not your fault. See, you're suffering from the same thing I was suffering from. It's called POA. And POA starts at home. When your parents say to you, go to school, get good grades, get a good job. I started suffering from POA even before high school. I was suffering from severe POA by the time I graduated from the Wharton School of Business, because I thought the answer to getting started in real estate, I thought the answer to making money in real estate, I thought the answer to making something happen was to study harder, get more information. Oh, I know why I don't have any deals done. I don't have enough information. And so I go on the websites, I go to training, I go to seminars, I go to webinars, I go to all this stuff, I buy all this stuff. Oh my God, I had a whole library full of books and tapes. But I didn't have any deals. Today I would say I have a whole bunch of bookmarked YouTube videos. But I don't have any deals. Because I was suffering from POA. POA, what is this POA, Sherman? POA is simple. It's the paralysis of analysis. And POA is what's got you held captive, what's got you held tight, that's squeezing the life out of you like a boa constrictor killing a human being. Because you think to get more deals done, you need more information, you need more education. No. That's the exact opposite of what you need. What you really need, and I almost hate to say that because it's not right for me. Some of us, we haven't even met yet. It's not right for me to tell you what you need. So I'll just say it this way. What I needed was somebody to show me a clear path from A to B, how to get my first deal done. Cut the crap, cut the BS, cut the noise, get me out of this trap that I can't get out of the paralysis of analysis. And it was Steve Cook, the same guy who wrote that book, Life on Air, who showed me how to break free from POA. And you know what's the most interesting thing? I laugh about it when I think about it. I graduated, I wasn't some summa cum laude, blah, 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 blah. Although I was asked a couple years ago to give the graduation address for my alma mater. And that was one of the proudest moments of my life. But I didn't, I was a 3.2 average student. All throughout high school, all throughout college, all throughout grad school. But it was good enough to get me a fellowship to get me into the business school of my choice. And here I am, a graduate of the Wharton School of Business, like the cathedral of capitalism. Amen. And the guy who showed me how to get my first deal done, in his own words, barely got out of high school. So it's not about book smarts, it's not about book education. It's about having somebody who's willing to take you by the hand and show you exactly what you need to do, step by step by step, to get the first deal done. Because so much of what you know and so much of what you will know and so much of what you will learn comes from actually doing the business. And that's one of the things that my mentor Jim Rouse said to me as a kid. He said, Sherman, you learn the real estate business by doing it. And there's so much that you want to know and so much like you feel like you need to know when you do, but you're not going to learn it until you get through that very first deal, because the knowledge comes from the doing, not the YouTube videos, not the seminars, not the webinars. And quite frankly, what I'm talking about tonight, I'm not going to tell you everything there is to know about real estate. Like, I got a whole library that I created on commercial real estate, on raising money, on finding off-market FSBO deals, motivated sellers throwing the keys to you. But we're not going to talk about any of that stuff tonight. I want to talk to the person who's still struggling to get your first deal done. Because if I can show you how to get the first deal done quickly, I can show you how to get the second deal done right on the coattails. And if I can show you how to get the first deal, second deal, third deal, I can show you how to make 6 figures in the next 9 months. Who here wants to make 6 figures part-time from home in the next 9 months? Say me, 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 me in the chat room. Just put it in the chat box right now if that's you. Because I only want to talk to the folks who are totally serious about making something happen and making it happen fast. That's where I needed to be 20 years ago, or 22 years ago now. So, more education doesn't help you get more deals. No, my transformation, like I said, came from desperation. I had lost everything on one day. My $24 million a year, 65 employee business went up in smoke like that because of events beyond my control. And I needed to come up with money to put food on the table, keep my 2 kids at the time in private school. I'll talk about why that is in a second. And most importantly, salvage respect, self-respect, and most importantly, the respect of the woman I love. Because you can be in the most beautiful relationship that God could ever put you in, but if you can't provide for your family, I'm sorry, and what I'm going to say is totally politically incorrect. Y'all can go ahead and quit right now, leave this workshop right now, but if you're a man and you married and you got kids and you can't provide for your family, your wife is quickly losing respect for you. And you better make something happen quick before that becomes a catastrophe. And that's where I was. I had promised my wife when we got married, I knew she was a busy's not even the right word. She was a single mom raising 2 kids in a house she had bought in Bowie, Maryland, having to drive to Falls Church, Virginia, every day to go to work because that was the only job that she could get that would pay her what she needed to make the mortgage payments on her house after she had kicked her ex-husband out for reasons I will not get into. She wasn't ready to move to Northern Virginia. She wasn't ready to uproot the kids. But in order to pay the bills as a single mom, that was the job she had to take. Falls Church, around the Beltway, Bowie, every single day. And I remember talking about that with her when we were dating. It was kind of her way, of, I think, of saying to me, don't be messing around. You better be serious. And I remember making this promise to her when we got married. Honey, if you want to be a stay-home mom for the first time in your life, you can do that. Because we have enough money coming in off of my business, off of this one contract, that we can put something aside, keep the kids in private school, and live very comfortably. And I made that commitment before the rug got snatched out from underneath me, but I had to keep that commitment. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. You single guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? But you married guys who got kids, got obligations, you know exactly where I'm coming from. And I know exactly where you're coming from. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I might not be talking to anybody else, but I'm talking to you. So here's the deal. I needed to make something happen fast. I needed to get my first deal, and Steve taught me a system that helped me get my first deal done in just 21 days. Then go on to make $100,000. And here's the magic. Once you get past that first deal, everything else you've been struggling to do all of a sudden suddenly makes sense and becomes easier because you've now surrounded yourself with a team of people who can help you pull this thing off. See, real estate is a team sport. I know you've heard people say that. Robert Kiyosaki says it all the time. If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you listen to Robert Kiyosaki podcasts, you hear him say it all the time. He's not the only one. But real estate investing is a team sport. Here's the problem. When you are in the bleachers watching everybody else, you don't have a team. You're not on the team. Trust me, I know this. Ever since my son, my youngest son David, who started playing football, his mom let him play football in high school, started taking a liking, we have PSLs. We have private seat licenses. We have 50-yard line seats at M&T Bank Stadium to watch the Ravens play. And while I love to think that sitting there with my number 52 or my number 8 jersey and screaming for the purple, the purple and white or purple and black makes me part of the team, I got news for you. I ain't getting paid what Lamar Jackson's going to get paid. All right? I'm not getting paid what Tucker's getting paid because I am not a member of the team. I'm rooting for the team, I'm supporting the team, but I'm not on the team. If you're going to be successful in this real estate business, you need to get onto the team, you need to get onto the field and stop being a spectator. That's what we're talking about today. So in the first 21 days, 3 weeks, in the first 3 weeks of connecting with Steve, I got my first deal done, got my first check, and by the time 9 months had gone by, I was looking at checks like this one. I don't know if you got this one up, not Zevin. $47,525.85. $47,525.85 on one deal. Who here in the workshop would love to get a $45,000 check on one deal? And if truth be told, maybe 20 hours. Maybe. In other words, I might have had 20 hours into that deal. $47,000 for 20 hours worth of work. I think that works out to like $2,000 an hour or something like that. I don't know. Zephan, you do the math for me. Let me know if that's right. All right, so here's the point. There are bigger paydays in this business once you get past the first deal. There are tremendous paydays in this business once you put systems in place. You are going to make money in this business once you get out of the bleachers and onto the field and be a part of a team. I guarantee you that. But as long as you are getting your real estate investor knowledge from Bigger Pockets, Connected Investors, YouTube videos, you're not on the team. You're in the bleachers cheering for somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of great YouTubers out there that got wonderful, funny videos. But when so-and-so gets a check for $100,000, he is not sending me my profit share. In order for me to get my check, I got to do my deals. In order for you to get your check, you got to do your deals. And that's what I do. I help people to realize and recognize that in order to be successful, you simply need 3 things. If you are ready to write things down, this might be a good time to start writing them down. You need 3 things. Number 1, you need a system that works. A system that works. In fact, you'll need multiple systems for your business, but you can build them when you are ready. The first system is what I call a quick cash system. And that's why that's the first thing I teach people. And then right on the coattails of that, when I say quick cash, I mean like in 3 weeks, 21 days. And then right on the coattails of that, I teach people how to find off-market deals, what I call FSBO market domination, for sale by owner market domination. And I teach people how to get motivated sellers throwing deals at you. Then I show you how to put the first part on autopilot so you can then expand to the second part, which is going on to raising money and then ultimately doing commercial deals. But if you get these out of order, if you try to do commercial deals before you know how to do quick cash, it'll fail. If you try to do FSBO, off-market deals, before you learn how to do what we call hacking the MLS, you will fail. If you try to do commercial deals without first understanding the fundamentals of how real estate works, which is why you learn on residential deals, because if you fall off the first rung of the ladder, you get a boo-boo. You fall off the 10th rung of the ladder, you break your freaking neck. But Sherman, there are people out there with YouTube videos saying that I can be an apartment investor and I haven't even got started and I didn't even know what the word Mayo means. Yeah, you keep listening to them. You'll be confused and you'll be broke. If you want to be unconfused and have money in your pocket, ka-ching, ka-ching, Zephan, bring that check back up. If you want to be unconfused, not confused, have clarity, and start looking at $45,000 checks on single deals, for God's sake, bring it back, Zephan, listen to me. All right? Listen to me. So 3 things. Number 1, system that then becomes systems. Number 2, support. I've never met a single person who's made money by watching in real estate by watching YouTube videos. Sooner or later, you're going to need to ask for help. You're going to need mentors and coaches. In other words, a support network, a support group to help you implement what you want to do. Because you're going to get confused, you're going to make mistakes, and you need somebody to say, keep going, keep going, keep going. So a system that works, a support team to support you, and number 3, a very clear commitment to making it happen. And I don't care what's happened in the past. I don't care about your failures of the past. I'm not your mom. I'm not your cousin. I'm not your sister. Okay? I could care less how many times you have tried and failed. We've all tried and failed at things. But sooner or later, you grow up and you say, you know what? No matter what's happened in my past, I'm going to make this work. And when you feel that in your gut, I'm going to make this work, that means you have the commitment and the commitment level that you're ready to take the systems and take the support and actually get things done this time. So, as I said before, this system that we have developed is the very system I used to get out from underneath that $1 million debt. The system that I used to create quick cash. The system that I used to generate $100,000 part-time working from home in my first 9 months once I got serious about doing this real estate thing. And it's the same system that others have used, like Howard Johnson, like Brett Collins, like Valerie Scott, like Marcus Lackey, like Thomas Allen, like Stuart Dukeman, and others, and on, 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 and on. Some of these folks that we train, showed them how to get first deal done, showed them how to create 6-figure incomes in 9 months, they're now out there teaching and training other people. I once had somebody say to me who'd been a part of our Realinvestors family, God, Sherman, you know a lot of people, and it seems like a lot of people who are out there teaching, training people how to do stuff in real estate got started with you. I'm like, yeah, that's what a lot of gray hair, a little gray hair, and 20 years of commitment to helping people will do. So, as I said, we have successfully trained over 1,400 students. It's the reason why Think Realty magazine did a cover story on us, a featured cover story on us. Look at that good-looking guy. He had like dark hair back then. That's why Think Realty did a whole article on us and what we do here. And we, pre-pandemic, were limited to just the greater Washington, D.C. area. But since the pandemic, we've learned how to become really, really good at teaching people all over the world. All over the world. So if you're sitting here and you're not in the D.C. area, like, why is this guy talking to me? Is what he's talking about for me? We have proven that this works everywhere. And as I said before, not only is it me, but it's also my family. See, this is how you actually do generational wealth. If you Google generational wealth on YouTube, you'll see a whole lot of theory and a whole lot of videos on generational wealth. Let me tell you what generational wealth looks like. You guys see this picture right here? That's a picture of me, my dad, and my youngest son. He's now 21, but when this picture was taken, he was 8 years old. And that was a picture that was taken roughly about 8, 9 years ago. And I took my dad to see this apartment building that we had just finished rehabbing up in Baltimore City. I bought that building for $249,000, put about another $300,000 or $400,000 into it, had a mortgage payment of around $700,000 that we paid down, and I just put that property under contract for $1.2 million. When it's all said and done and the dust all settles, I have a check for somewhere around $500,000, and I'm going to hand that over to my youngest son, who now looks like this, the guy with the pin sweatshirt on. See, wonder what it's amazing what happens over time. And my youngest son, all three of my kids actually, are in the real estate business because of their choice. Nobody forced them, but all three of them have gotten deals done. In fact, my oldest, my daughter, I actually coached her through how to get her first house several years ago, and we took the emails that went back and forth and turned it into a book called 7 Simple Steps to Getting Your Own Home. It's basically a conversation I had with my daughter to help guide her through how to get her first deal done. My oldest son has done 4 or 5 deals. My youngest son has got 6 deals under his belt. He just finished closing his 3rd or 4th rehab, and now I'm going to hand him over a check for about $500,000 to pay off some investors, take their place, and to build a 23-unit apartment building in Baltimore, downtown Baltimore. This kid's 21 years old. By the time he's 23, he will have built his first apartment building. Generational wealth is not about giving your kids checks. Generational wealth is about giving your kids skills and then giving them checks. Because if you give them skills and then give them checks, they won't blow the money. But if you just give them money and no skills, don't be surprised when the money evaporates. If you get what I'm saying, please type in the chat box right now, Sherman, I'm getting this. Right now, just type in Sherman, I'm getting. If you type in Sherman, I'm getting this in the chat box, I have a very special bonus for you when we finish up. But I really want to know, are you guys really getting what I'm saying here? Because what I'm sharing with you is literally life-changing. Not just for you, life-changing for your kids. Kids. That's the power of understanding how to do this real estate thing correctly. And if I had just simply listened to my father, and my father's a great man, he's been a great mentor to me, but he hated the fact that I quit working for the U.S. Department of Health. I went to work for the federal government. I quit after 2 weeks. I literally quit in my head after 2 days. I'm like, if I stay here, I'm going to die. I can't stay in this environment. Took me another 2 weeks to actually turn in my resignation. Took me another 2 weeks to tell my father that I had quit that good government job. But man, if you could have seen the look on his eyes. There it is right there. That's the look on my father's face. Because I was able to do something that he was never able to do but wanted to do, which is become a frickin' real estate mogul in his eyes by buying an apartment building. And we took that picture on Father's Day. This is back when, this is pre-iPhone. It was about a year before iPhones came out. Or maybe iPhones came out, but I didn't have one. And I literally took a digital camera and stuck it up on a mailbox across the street. It took us about 12 tries to get this picture. Now I just sort of do my little selfie thing, right? And we went out to brunch at the Cheesecake Factory in Columbia, Maryland, Columbia Mall. And my father's like, give me that camera. And he says, bring up that picture. And had a digital camera, the digital display, and he shows it to the waitress. He says, you see that? See that building? We own that. All of it. And you should have seen my son, David, when his grandfather is talking about his dad and how proud he is. David's eyes got big as saucers. He's like, wow. I've never seen granddaddy like this. He's all excited about something that Dad did. That's generational wealth. Because I believe in my heart of hearts, that was the day my son said, I want to do something in this real estate thing because I see the look on my grandfather's eyes when he sees something that Dad did that's made him proud. I want to see that same thing for you. But I got news for you. That apartment building was not my first deal. That apartment building was like my 10th deal or 12th deal. Everybody's got to have a first deal. Everybody has to have a system to get you ready for when the bigger deals come. Because if you're not ready when the bigger deals come, the bigger deals pass you by and go to the next person who is ready. So let's put away all of this stuff that you're not quite frankly ready for and talk about how we get you into the game. So, and most importantly, I'll never forget the look on my wife's eyes when I gave her that $47,000 check working my part-time from my basement office from home business. And I gave that $47,000 check to my wife and said, hey, honey, you going by the bank today? Would you mind depositing that into my business account for me? Guys, if you are not supporting your family in the way that you promised, see, remember when you were dating and you made all them promises? If you're not living up to those promises, your wife is losing respect for you. She may never say anything. She might not do anything, but she knows that she married a fast talker. You want to change that? You honestly want to change that? Create a six-figure, part-time, from-home business in the next 9 months. And if for no other reason than to honor the commitment you made, start asking your wife to deposit these checks into your business account. And lo and behold, look and see the change on her face when she knows she married a real man. Just saying. All right, so let's get back to the topic of tonight. I promised you, let's go through this really, really quickly. 3 simple steps to getting a six-figure income the next 9 months working from home part-time. Step 1, as I've already said, we need to focus on getting the first deal done. If you are busy watching YouTube videos, reading books, going to seminars, cut it out. Unless it's leading you towards getting that first deal done in a system where you can repeat that over and over. As I oftentimes say, listen, if I can get 1 deal done and I know exactly what I did and I got a system, I can get 2. If I can get 2, I can get 4. If I get 4, I can get 8. This is not too much different than the game of Monopoly. You don't get to buy the red hotel, let's just call it what it is, your first apartment building. You don't get that until after you get 4 green houses. I don't care whether it's bird dog in a house, wholesale in a house, fixing and flipping a house, subject to BRRR. You don't get the first apartment until you understand how the game gets played. You got to even understand what the words mean. If you don't know what ARV, MAO, LTV, if you don't know what those things mean, you're going to get killed going after commercial deals. Commercial deals, the training wheels come off. You're out riding that 12-speed bike over a mountain pass through the rough with rattlesnakes on either side. Seriously. Let's focus on getting the first deal done and doing it in such a way that we can repeat it and then repeat it and then repeat it and then repeat it like it almost gets boring. Well, we can make that happen in the next couple of months. We can make that happen faster than 9 months and then move on to the next and then move on to the next and move layer upon layer upon layer. And then we get to the commercial deals. But if you have not gotten your first deal done, we need to focus on the first deal done. Step number 2, we need a system in place to expand beyond quick cash. So the first deal really kind of should be a quick cash deal. In and out, in and out, in and out, understanding the rules of the game, building your team, and putting money in your pocket. I had a guy come up to me the other day and say, Sherman, I've been following you. I've got your system. I'm going through your 21-day quick start challenge. But Sherman, I don't want to be a wholesaler. Is there anything else you got for me? I said, have you got your first deal done? He said, no. I said, learn how to get your first deal done. Learn how to be a wholesaler, if you want to call it that, well enough to teach it to somebody else. He said, teach it to who? I said, teach it to other people who are going to wholesale deals to you. I looked at the young man in the eye. I said, do you understand? I have been a full-time real estate investor for going on 20 plus years. Only in my first and second year did I get out there and actually do the kinds of marketing and stuff that I teach people how to do. Now, I don't do the marketing. I teach other people how to do the marketing. And when other people do the marketing and they get deals, what do you think they do with the deals? They bring them to me first. I do probably 5-6 deals a year. You say, Sherman, you're only doing 5-6 deals? Well, my latest deal is a $5 million apartment building. Last deal before that was a $1.2 million apartment building. Last deal before that was a hotel deal. So they're kind of big deals, but I still do single-family houses. I still do about 3 or 4 single-family houses, but I'm not out there hustling to find those houses. I'm paying other people to bring the deals to me. It's a win-win. Learn how to do the basics of this business, if for no other reason than to teach your kids, so your kids can have their own pocket money and decide whether or not they want to be in this real estate business. Learn this business well enough, the fundamentals, the basics of how to generate quick cash on demand. Learn it well enough to teach somebody else, 2 or 3 people, to bring deals to you. Literally, serve deals up to you on a silver platter. Sir, can I bring you another deal? Sir, can I get a $2,000 finder's fee? Sir, can I get a $5,000 wholesale fee? Sure, I'll be happy to give you a $5,000. I've given $10,000 wholesale fees. Why? Because those deals wind up putting $2,000 to $3,000 a month in my bank account, ka-ching, ka-ching, without me getting out of bed. And I didn't have to go find the deal. I taught somebody how to basically find a deal and serve it to me on a silver platter. That's what I mean about learning the fundamentals well enough to then be able to put that on autopilot so you can go on to the next level, the next thing. Maybe it's apartments, maybe it's Airbnb, maybe it's a portfolio of houses. I don't know, maybe it's land development. Maybe it's buying car washes or assisted living facilities. I've done it all. But I've also learned how to hustle in the trenches. But I didn't stay in the trenches. I learned how to hustle in the trenches to teach somebody else so that they could bring deals to me. If you like that idea, like dedicating 3 weeks of your life to learn a technique that you can teach to somebody else so they can bring deals to you while you're busy on your day. Like, I know some of you guys got government jobs. Some of you got great jobs. Some of you guys are making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year as government contractors. You're like, Sherman, I don't really have the time to get out there and hustle for houses. But wouldn't you like to train other people how to do that? And the first person they call is you? If you like that idea, say, matter of fact, say, I love this. If you like what I'm saying, say, I love this in the chat box. Go ahead, type in the chat box if you love what if you like where I'm coming from, tell me that you love this. All right, so step 3, get a support team and make corrections along the way. See, here's a little insider secret. You're on a journey. I didn't realize this, but you're on a journey. And there's certain things you need along that journey. It's almost like a video game. You're going to find out later on that there was something you needed at level 1 and you don't have it and you're at level 5 and you're going to go all the way back down to level 1 to continue on your journey. I can teach you how to raise money. I can give you all the documents so you don't have to pay some lawyer $10,000. I can give them to you. Now, they'll say educational purposes only. At least I'll explain what they are. And then you can go see a lawyer if you want to have a lawyer draft your documents for you. But here's the problem. If I give you the documents to go out and raise your first private placement, your first PPM, your first private investment, and you don't have a list of people to talk to, the documents don't do you any good. Hey, well, Sherman, where do I get this list? You build that list during the 9 months you're focusing on the fundamentals. Some people call this a buyer's list. I got news for you. It's not a buyer's list. It's a private investor list. I literally remember 10 years ago getting ready to catch a plane, and I needed to raise $200,000 to get a deal done. And we were catching a plane. We were going to Dulles Airport, 6 o'clock in the morning, getting on an 8 o'clock flight. We were going to be on that plane until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And the last thing I did before I turned out the light in my office was send out an email to my buyers list that said, hey, I'm looking for investors to come in on a deal with me. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's the documents. And I pushed send. We landed in St. Thomas at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It took us another 20, 30 minutes to get to our place there. I put stuff away around 2:30-ish. I'm opening up the computer. Bam! I had raised $1 million off of one email. $1 million. And it wasn't about the private placement document. It wasn't about the technique that I teach people. It was about the fact that I had a list. Now, we call that our buyer's list, but you know the vast majority of people, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to just share this with you real quick because I got to get back to what I promised to give you. The vast majority of people that are on your so-called buyer's list are not buyers at all. But if you ask them the right way, if you approach them the right way, they're probably good for a $25,000 investment in a deal. And I will teach you how to do that. But here's the problem. If you don't have a buyer's list, what I teach you will not work because you got nobody to send those emails to. Stephanie, can we bring that slide back up? What I didn't understand early on was I was on a journey. And there's certain things you need along the journey. And if you don't get them in the early days of building your business, you'll have to go back and get them when you're 2-3 years down the road because you're going to wind up getting stuck. Stuck. So how do we prevent ourselves from getting stuck? We understand and we recognize the fact that there's certain things we need to put in place, foundational things we need to place. Quick cash, buyer's list, understanding the right way to raise money, understanding basic marketing concepts so that we can market ourselves to motivated sellers and market ourselves to investors who want to invest in our deals. And then understanding what banks are looking for in your balance sheet before they will go ahead and give you that $1 million loan for your first commercial property. In other words, having 4 or 5 pieces of residential real estate, not because you necessarily love residential real estate, but when the time comes for you to go out and get that loan because the bank is going to give you 80% of what you need to buy that first apartment building. In other words, you want to buy a $1 million apartment building, and they're still out there, even in the DC area. You want to buy a $1 million apartment, the bank will give you 80% of what you need. The bank will give you $800,000. You only have to raise $200,000, but they need to see your financial statement that shows you understand what the hell you're doing. Having some single-family houses demonstrates that. You don't need to take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to do that. You can get that done in the next 6 to 9 months if you get a system and a plan and a support network. And so transitioning into commercial, getting that first commercial deal, is like, well, Sherman, I can get a bank to give me $800,000, but I still need to come up with $200,000. Do I need to sell one of my houses? No. You take the documents I give you, what's called a private placement memorandum. You get them blessed by an attorney. Cost you $10,000. I'll explain to you what's in it. Then you go get the attorney to actually draft it. Because I'm not an attorney. And I don't practice law. Not even for friends. But you circulate that private placement amongst people who are on your buyer's list asking for $20,000. All you need is 10 people to say yes. And you got your first commercial deal. Ka-ching, ka-ching, nothing down, not a dime out of your pocket. But that probably won't be your first deal. But it's in your future if you choose to do the right things today. And as you go along that journey, you get the right pieces in place today, a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, you can be in a position to make that happen within the year. If you're serious, you got the right systems, and you got the right support. And I've seen it happen time after time after time after time. Not just to me, but to some of the other people that we've trained over the past 20 years. 1,400 successful investors, six-figure businesses in the next 9 months, in your next 9 months, that builds the foundation to do greater things. I don't want you to just be some bird dogger. I don't want you to just be some wholesaler. There's plenty of people out there want to teach you, like they have YouTube channels to teach you how to be a better wholesaler. I don't want you to be a better wholesaler. I want you to learn it well enough to teach it to somebody else, put it on autopilot, and become a real investor. Real investors aren't wholesalers. They teach people how to wholesale and bring the deals to them. Real investors aren't bird dogs. They teach people how to do that stuff and bring the deals to them. Real investors, truthfully, aren't necessarily even deal makers. They just know who they need on their team to get deals done. Real investors take multiple vacations a year with their family because they understand the most precious thing you'll ever have is not money. And it's not a deed. And it's not a job. The most precious thing you will ever have is your time with your family. Because none of us knows what cancer, what car accident, what thing that falls in freak accident is going to take you out of here and when. So cherish every single moment you've got with the people you love and stop giving the best of you to some damn job. I'm not trying to get you to replace your job for another job being a bird dog, a wholesaler, a real estate agent. No, I want you to become a real investor who knows how to make things happen and have deals flow to you so you can enjoy time and money, wealth and freedom. Freedom! With the people you love. I don't have some crazy YouTube channel teaching you how to become a better wholesaler. Learn it, teach it to somebody else, let them do 90% of the work, you keep 90% of the profit. Move on. That's my philosophy. That's what I teach. If you like that philosophy about having more time, more money, wealth, and freedom, then please type the word freedom with an exclamation point in the chat box right now. Type it right now. And if you're not willing to do that, click off. Because I'm not your guy. And I can't help you. If all you want to do is replace one job for another job, go grovel for money, be out there hitting the streets, trying to find people to give you deals, I'm not your guy. I'm the guy that's going to teach you how to create a six-figure income in the next 9 months. I'm not Mr. Wizard. If all you need is a simple one-page sales letter and it gets the job done, then do the simple one-page sales letter. We don't need to spend 45, 55, 100, 400, 300, 400 hours talking about marketing. I know how to market. You should know how to market. You market to get results. You get the results, you put it on autopilot, go live your life. I'm here to teach you how to get free. I need to get back on track. All right, so 12-month action plan to get results. If you like what you're hearing, you're like, I think this guy can teach me something, then I invite you to spend the next 12 months with me as we together, working together, build your six-figure business. Here's how it works. Number one, I have one of the best training programs out there. And obviously, I can't teach you in an hour everything you need to know about finding deals, putting it on autopilot, going on to find off-market deals, getting motivated sellers to bring you deals, raising capital, and then transitioning into commercial real estate. And oh, by the way, teaching you how to rehab some houses to buy, fix, and flip, or buy, fix, and rent for true wealth creation. But here's what I do have. I've got 5 master classes that teach each one of these subjects. We've got a master class, what's called the apprentice program, which teaches you how to build a team to get deals to come to you. We got another class called Get Bigger Checks, which was how to find off-market deals. We got another class called Where to Get the Money Now. We have another class called Rehab and Riches. And finally, we have another class called Transitioning to Commercial Deals. And here's the best part. It doesn't matter where you live in the country or the world. Like I said, we've had people go through these programs in Sweden, Shaker Heights, Ohio, Atlanta, Georgia, Plano, Texas. I think we got somebody, oh yeah, Chicago. And I think we've had some folks come through in California. So it doesn't matter where you are, we will put you onto a team based on where you are and show you and work with you and your fellow teammates for the next 12 months to show you how to build a business using proven systems. Now that is a $985 value each one of those classes. But hang in there with me, because I'm going to teach you, I'm going to show you, those of you who are interested, how to get this training for free. Anybody here like free? If you like free, put I like free in the chat box. In fact, put free. All right? So first thing, $19,985 worth of each one of these classes is about 90 days long. If you do the math, it'll take you about a whole year to get through. But each one of these classes gives you actionable, functionable skills. Next, we have something called the Real Investor Academy. Again, not only are the classes here, but the classes are done online. And as I said before, we are one of the few, in fact, I think we are the only real estate investor academy in the entire United States that is actually certified by a state higher education agency. See, we are, here at the Real Investors Academy, what's known as a trade school. We don't teach people how to become real estate agents, we teach people how to become real estate investors. And we are certified as such. And because we are certified, we can offer scholarships, we can offer tuition assistance, and I can show you how to get this entire program, if you're interested, and you hang in there with me for about another 10 minutes, for free. Next, so 5 master classes, $3,997 each. That's a total value of $19,985. Next, we have an online training platform. It is award-winning, it is a proven performer. You will get 12 months of access to Real Investors U. That's a $997 value. Now, why do I say that? Because every single month that you're part of Real Investors U, we launch or make open or make available to you another training program, like how to create wealth through self-directed IRAs, like how to put together syndications, like how to actually rehab a house or estimate rehabs for a house just like a pro. Each one of these classes that we make available online, these are online digital classes, $997 each. We give you one a month and more during your 12 months of this program. So that's 12 months of access to Real Investors U, $997. That's a total value of $11,964. Okay? Next, we have what's known as a VIP elite group. I have what's called a VIP elite group. Basically, I meet with 12 to 15 people once a quarter, and we talk about how we can help you build your business. It is kind of like a board of directors. And if you think about any successful company, privately held, publicly held, every single company out there has a board of directors. Why? Because you need somebody to help hold you accountable, especially when you are the entrepreneur. I had a mentor once say to me, being an entrepreneur is one of the loneliest things you could ever do in your life, because you can't tell your friends and family what you're doing and they truly understand. You can't tell your customers what you're doing because they'll want you to give them a price break. And you certainly don't want to tell your competitors what you're doing because they're going to kill you. So having a room full of people who are like-minded, understand what you're going through, it's what we call a mastermind. In fact, it comes right out of the book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, the whole concept of having a mastermind. So we are going to give you one seat to our VIP, in other words, a chance to come to one of our meetings. Right? We do this 4 times a year, but come to one of our meetings. Now, people who are part of my VIP group pay $25,000 a year just to be a part of that elite group. And we're going to give you a ticket for you and your business partner or your spouse to come with us for one of our meetings. And we do some pretty interesting things, like the time that we did a tour of Air Force One, or the time that we took everybody down to St. Thomas. So depending upon what your schedule looks like, maybe you'll get on one of these really, really interesting meetings that we do. But it's basically an entire day where you're going to sit and listen to the movers and shakers, people who already have 7, and 8-figure businesses. That's right, we have members of our Real Investors alumni, and members of our mastermind group who are doing 7 and 8 figures a year. By the way, if you do the math, 7 figures is $1 million, 8 figures is 10 million or more, okay? So one VIP Elite Mastermind Observer seat, total value of $8,332.30. Next, half day of private coaching with me. I find a lot of people really need to have a half day to just sort of lay out the whole plan. And so I do a half day of private coaching. I normally charge $24.97 for a half day. I'm going to give you 2 half days of coaching, a half day to lay out your plan, and then another half day to make sure that you're on track a couple months later, 6 months later, whatever you feel like you need it. And that is a $4,994 value. And if you just look at some of our most successful students, listen to some of the things they've said, having me work with you to lay out your specific roadmap. Like I said, you're on a journey. But sometimes it's hard to know what the next steps are without having somebody here to guide you. A coach, a mentor. And I would love to be that mentor to you. And so as a part of this 12-month experience, I want to also give you 2 half days of private coaching with me. Howard Johnson loves to say that, it was really in the early days of building his business, the roadmap I helped him laid out. That's the roadmap he continued to use, which allowed him in a very short period of time to build a 6-figure business in 9 months and then go on 3-4 years later and pick up a $1.6 million mansion in a gated community with an Arnold Palmer golf course on the golf course for $279,000. You heard me right. He picked up a $1.6 million mansion for $279,000. Now, today, that house is probably worth $2.2 million. But it was sitting there with him and laying out that plan as to how he could get that in the fastest way possible that allowed him to actually reach his dream in just a couple of short years. Okay? That is one of the reasons, again, why Think Realty did a full cover spread on us and the things that we do here at the Real Investors Academy. And quite frankly, for our most successful members, our 8-figure members, it's getting that personal roadmap, that one-on-one time with me, and then checking in to make sure that you're using all the tools, all the resources that we have. And I want to give that as a gift, special gift to you. All right? So again, that is a $4,994 value. 12 months of gold membership. That is an opportunity to go out in the field with us. And again, it doesn't matter where you are. We have team leaders in Atlanta. We got team leaders in Chicago. We got team leaders in Dallas, team leaders in Norfolk. Wherever you are, we got team leaders and a chance to go out there in small groups and get a behind-the-scenes live case study on how deals actually get made. That's what's a part of our gold membership. Our gold membership is normally $197.97 a month. That's a $2,375 value. But again, the chance in small groups to go out and see and look over the shoulder and see how deals actually get made, okay? Next, VIP admission to 3 of our events. Every year we have 3 events. We have what's called the Foreclosure Summit. We have the Commercial Property Summit. And then we have what's called the Super Meeting, where we highlight the successes of our members. That is live stream. So if you're not in the DC area, you can join us online. If you are in the DC area, you want to come live, get a live ticket, either way. But I want to give you 3 pairs of VIP tickets. So that's you and another person, VIP admission to these 3 events, whether you come live or you come via live stream, okay? And then, of course, a private one-on-one session with Abera Okoye, one of my students, one of my proteges, who's known as the Wealth Building CPA. You Google her name, you ask anybody who's the best CPA in the world of real estate today and for real estate investors. Abera wants to give you a review of the past 3 years of your tax returns to make sure that your CPA is giving you all of the favorable tax treatment possible and saved you as much money possible in taxes because of your real estate investing. If you don't have any real estate investing, you can save that until you got some real estate investments, but if you already have a couple, including your own home, Abera can show you how to maximize those profits. And then lastly, access to our MLS, live access to the MLS, and I don't know why that video is not working, but we have our own dedicated access because we have our own brokerage firm. We have direct access in the MLS. I want to give you our mobile MLS app. That is a $997 value. I want to give it to you for free. Allows you to literally snap a picture of a house and see the inside, see the tour, see the sales history, see what comps are in the neighborhood. It is one of the most powerful tools you'll ever have. It's the same data that real estate agents use. I'm going to give that to you. That's a $997 value. 3-day life-changing weekend. We do this here in DC. Unfortunately, we do not live stream this. If you can make arrangements to get here, you, preferably you and your spouse or you and your business partner, we do a 3-day event every month. And I would love to see you come to one of these. And that's why I want to gift this to you, where basically we spend an entire day, Friday, looking at properties, generally look at about 5 to 8 properties, and then we spend the next 2 days breaking it down. We've looked at things like self-storage, Airbnb, residential assisted living, rehabs, and of course, lots and lots and lots of residential properties, but we also throw in 1 or 2 commercial properties too. And we take you behind the scenes and break it down step by step how those deals came together. So that is our life-changing weekend. As one of our members said, they were able to make, I believe it was, what did they say that they made? They made, I think the check was $90,000, and the idea came to them as to how they could get this deal done by attending one of our life-changing weekends, okay? So that is a $997 value. Chances are you've probably heard of Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor, but you may never heard of their mentor, Earl Nightingale. I also want to give you a very special collection of sort of what I call Get Your Head Straight tapes, or Get Your Head Straight online videos, done by Earl Nightingale. Earl's widow, Diana Nightingale, and I together put together a special collection just for real estate investors and real estate professionals that is the sort of the best of what Earl Nightingale was working on just before he passed away. And many of you guys know Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, and you probably have heard of Earl Nightingale's company, Nightingale Conant, which is a leader in personal development, performance development. Many of the coaches at Nightingale Conant have gone on to teach Olympians. And so Earl Nightingale was really the father of personal development and performance development. And before he passed away, he was working on some performance enhancement tools that he never quite finished. And Diana Nightingale and I together worked together to put that together in a package specifically for real estate investors. That's a $997 value. So recap, here's what you get. 5 master classes, 12 months of Real Investors U, 1 VIP level seating, 2 private sessions with me, 12 months of gold membership, VIP admission to 3 events, 3-year tax return review by Abera Koye, Real Investors Mobile MLS, 3-day life-changing weekend, and of course, Last Works of Earl Nightingale. That's a $53,000 real world value. And with everything we do here at the Real Investors Academy, it comes with a 100% money back guarantee. And I also offer what's known as a 200% money back guarantee, which is this. If you make an investment in this program, and by the way, it's not going to be $53,000 because I said before, I'm going to share with you how to get it for free. But if you make an investment in this program and you don't get at least 1 deal done during our 12 months together, I will refund you 100% of what you invested, and everything we have provided to you during that 12 months together is yours to keep. So you get to have your cake and eat it too. You get all the stuff and you don't pay a dime. And that's a 100% cheerful refund. Now, who here would like to get it for free? If you would like to get it for free, please type in the chat box right now, free, 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 free. But before I do that, how about if we do this one better? What if we provided all those things for you, the 5 master classes, Real Investors U, Real Investors Gold membership, VIP level admission, 3-day life-changing weekend, access to the MLS on a mobile device, access to the Earl Nightingale, like we give that to you, and we provide a second entire set so you can bring an adult child, you can bring a spouse, you can bring a business partner, you can bring anybody you want so that they can learn right alongside with you, and they too can either help you build your 6-figure business or build their own 6-figure business. What if we give you 2 sets? And like I said before, who here wants all of this? It's a $108,000 value. Who here wants it for free? Right, free, 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 me, 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 me in the chat box. So, here's what you get. One more time, just to be real clear on this. 5 master classes, they're 90 days each. They can be done 100% online. but we also do live sessions if you want to attend a live session wherever you are located. We have 12 months of the Real Investors U, 1 VIP level Elite Master Observer seat, 2 half-day private sessions with me, 12 months of gold membership, VIP admission, 3-year tax return review, Real Investors Mobile MLS, 3-day life-changing weekend, and the last Works at Real Night. It's a $53,130, 14-cent real value. And we give it to you with 2 people. You get access to me as your personal coach, as your personal mentor on a one-on-one basis. You also get small group interaction to help you learn. You get on-site tours of actual properties that we're working on. You get a chance to participate in actual deals and make money, earn it while you learn it. And you get a chance to hear from the people who actually been doing this business and actually see how they also built their 6-figure business in 9 months, and a chance to learn how to transition into commercial real estate before the 12 months is over. And throw in one more thing, how about a free t-shirt? Because we all love free t-shirts, right? So here's how it works. As I said before, 100% money back guarantee, 200% in meaning if at the end of 1 year you don't have at least one deal done, your deal, not my deal, your deal, I'll refund 100% of what you invested, plus you get to keep everything, and the promise is for 2 people. And as I said before, who wants to get it all for free? Well, here's how it works. These are your next steps. First, go to the link partnerwithsherman.com. Zephan, maybe you can type that in the chat box. Partnerwithsherman.com. Now, don't leave the workshop just yet, because I'm going to walk you through exactly what's going to happen next. You go to partnerwithsherman.com, open up a second window, you're going to see this, a screen that explains that you have 2 options. So let me very quickly explain the 2 options. Please pick only one. Pick the one that applies to you. So option number 1. Option number 1 is you are interested in having us literally, maybe you want to show this, Zephan, serve up to you houses on a silver platter, okay? If you have $25,000 either in a bank account, a savings account, a 401k account, a TSP, a self-directed IRA, and you would like to invest it in a real estate deal, preferably right in your own backyard, so you can see it, touch it, taste it. Well, I wouldn't taste it. But you want to basically have us put the deal together for you, even if you have no real estate experience whatsoever, but you have at least $25,000, $25,000 to $100,000. I would like to meet with you and discuss how we can serve up houses to you on a silver platter. You put up the money, we bring the team, you get to look over my shoulder and see how this gets done, and your money's going to work earning 10 to 17% on your real estate deal. Your real estate deal. So if you have $25,000 to $100,000, again, it can be in a savings account, it can just be cash sitting in an account, you may have inherited some money, maybe you got a friend or family member who's got money, and you want to bring them along as your second person, we will invest it in a deal where your name or your entity's name is on title. It's your deal. It's your deal. And you will learn it as you invest with us. Now, to make that happen, we need to have a conversation. So if that's you, then you want to pick option A and basically select that you have the $25,000 and you want to meet with me privately to discuss what the opportunities are. And all I'm asking you to do is put up a $497 seat deposit that is fully refundable. Let me say it again, a fully refundable seat deposit that if at the end of that conversation, or if even in the middle of the conversation, you're like, nope, this is not for me, this is not what I want, I just wanted to sort of check it out, it will be cheerfully, fully, and immediately refunded to you. But I don't want a whole bunch of people filling up my calendar who say I'm interested, only get on the phone and go, well, I really don't have the money. No, I'm not interested in that. But if you really have access to that amount of capital and you would like for us to put deals together for you where you're going to be earning 10 to 17%, and we can talk about the specifics and the details, then pick option A. And that's literally, we're going to put deals together for you and serve them up to you on a silver platter. And you get all the things we discussed for free because you are an investor with me. Now, what if you don't have $25,000 and you're not quite ready for us to serve deals up for you on a silver platter? In that case, pick option B. And option B is a chance to earn it while you learn it, meaning you will invest in this program and get all the things we talked about, $108,000 worth of things. And I can't tell you right now what your investment will be, but it will probably be somewhere around $7,000 to $8,000, possibly $10,000. Now, why do I say that? Because, as I said before, we are a certified career school. We have tuition assistance programs. We have scholarships. Are you a firefighter? Are you a teacher? Are you a first responder? Are you a vet? Are you active duty military? We have scholarships for you. Are you somebody who's married to, or will you be bringing as your second person somebody in that category? We have scholarships for you. And if you do not qualify for one or more scholarships, we have tuition assistance programs, meaning we can help you fund your investment. To earn it while you learn it, option B, basically you do the same thing. $497 seat deposit, and you'll be meeting with one of our enrollment counselors, Lisa or Furman. And when you meet with the enrollment counselor, it's a 30-minute session, they will explain, they'll ask you some questions. First and foremost, we want to find out where you live, make sure that we've got a team ready to go where you live, have a team leader where you live. We're going to ask you kind of what you look like, what your level of commitment is. I strongly suggest you say your level of commitment is 10, because we don't tend to do a lot of stuff for people who say my level of commitment is like 1. But if you say my level of commitment is 10, I'm ready to go, they will find scholarships, they will find tuition assistance, they will find a program that works for you. At that time, you can either accept it or reject it. There's no obligation on your part. And if at the end of that 30-minute conversation or in the middle of that 30-minute conversation, I don't think I'm ready, I don't think this is going to work, I don't think I can afford it, then the $497 seat deposit will be immediately and cheerfully refunded to you on the spot. Again, we don't want to book up the enrollment counselors with a bunch of people who are not serious. But if you are serious, as I said before, 3 things you need to be successful. Systems that work, people who are committed to your success, and you having a high level of commitment to make it work. If you have that high level of commitment to make it work, then I strongly suggest you take action now, and sign up for a 30-minute conversation with one of our enrollment counselors. Just simply click option B, $497 for a fully refundable seat deposit to immediately meet, like in the next 3 or 4 days, with one of our enrollment counselors. And it's first in, first come, first serve. And let us see if we got a team that's ready to go where you are. We have an investor ready to go where you are, and you will have a chance to earn it while you learn it. What I mean by earn it while you learn it? I mean, literally, we've had people get $35,000 checks. I don't know if you saw that picture. Let me see if I can bring that back real quick. So take me a quick second. There it is. See this happy couple? They're holding a check for $35,000. This is a deal that they closed just last year. Year before last, excuse me. They earned $35,000 while going through the program. I got news for you. They didn't pay $35,000 to be in the program. They paid far, it was like a fraction of that. I think they paid like $3,000 or $4,000. By the time they got through all the tuition assistance scholarships for these guys, they paid like $3,000 or $4,000. They earned $35,000 while going through the class. Now, can we guarantee that will happen for you? We can't guarantee it, but that's the goal. That's the plan. That's what we mean when we say earn it while you learn it. So, again, either option A or option B. Next step is to pick one. A, I have 25 to 100,000. Yes, Sherman, I want you to serve up deals to me on a silver platter. Option B, no, I don't have it, but I want to earn it while I learn it. I want a chance to earn money, fees, quick cash while I'm learning the business, meet with one of our enrollment counselors, let them determine what scholarships you qualify for, what tuition assistance we can provide for you, and then just simply fill out the billing information, understand that your seat deposit is 100% refundable, and then meet with me if you're an investor who's prepared to invest $25,000 and earn 10 to 17%, or meet with one of our enrollment counselors if you're taking path B, which is to earn it while you learn it. And if after our meeting, either one of us agrees that, hey, this is just not a good fit, you will immediately be refunded your seat deposit. It's a fully refundable. We just simply put that in place because we don't want to have a lot of people who aren't serious taking up all the slots. We normally start with only about 4 or 5 people, so as soon as we get 4 or 5 people, we go. And so typically our enrollment counselors are talking to basically about 7 to 10 people. We want to talk to 7 to 10 serious people. And if you are somebody who wants to invest $25,000 or more, I want to talk to you like tomorrow, like now, right? And see if this is a good fit and see if we have an investment area and an investment criteria and investment perspective that makes sense for us to put deals together for you. But in either case, whether it's option A, option B, the enrollment fee is fully refundable. And again, if you're ready to take action, then take action now. So again, go to www.partnerwithsherman.com, go to the link that Stefan has put in the chat box, partnerwithsherman.com, pick option A or option B, fill out the information, submit the seat deposit. You will automatically be directed to a site to get onto our calendar so that we can schedule a time to talk, and let's walk through what happens next. And if you, after hearing what we have to say and after we hear what you have to say, if either party agrees that this is not a good fit, we will immediately and cheerfully refund 100% of your seat deposit. So again, one more time, here's what you get. 5 master classes. Each one of these classes is 90 days long. Each one of these classes is directed by a team leader in the market where you are. That's 5 classes that take you from quick cash to motivated sellers to raising capital to rehabbing to buy, fix, flip, or rehabbing to do a BRRR strategy, and then transitioning to commercial. That's why they're 90 days long, okay? And we've got people who do these on a part-time basis. We've got people who are truck drivers doing it, and we've literally had people participating, and they say, okay, I'm driving a truck cross country, and they're listening in or coming to one of the one of the weekly coaching sessions. So I do weekly coaching mentoring. We have a team leader in your local market who's doing the coaching and mentoring, and you're part of a team doing deals, either investing in deals that we put together for you or getting paid. See, if you're one of the people who's getting paid to earn it while you learn it, then you're going to get a finder's fee or a wholesale fee or earn a commission for helping to put the deal together, okay? And I've already showed you pictures of some of the people who've made like $35,000, $45,000, $50,000 while they were in the program, all right? Next, 2 half days of coaching session with me, 12 months of gold membership, VIP admission, 3-year tax return review, Real Investors Mobile MLS, 3-day life-changing weekend, last words at Earl Nightingale. That's a $53,000 program that's going to cost you a fraction of that. And again, that's times 2, you and one other person. Look, if you keep on doing the same old thinking, you're going to get the same old results. The bottom line is this: if you want a better life, if you want wealth and freedom, if you want to see a change, it's time to start believing. And if you don't believe in yourself, then believe in the success track record we've had with over 14,000 students over the past few years, because what we do works. So if you're looking for a sign, this is it. Meet with me, meet with one of our enrollment counselors. Let's take action. Let's take action now. I'd love to get working with you. I work for folks all over the globe. One of my favorite things is to bring you down to St. Thomas. If you're one of my investors, I'd love to bring you down to St. Thomas on my nickel and spend some time together. And most importantly, I want you to be the most important person in the life of the people that you love. And that means taking charge. That means taking command. That means making a decision. That means getting things done. So go ahead, go to Partner with Sherman, partnerwithsherman.com. Pick either option A or option B. If you're not sure which one to pick one. Make your seat deposit. Let's get on the phone together. Let's get on a Zoom meeting together and talk through what's the right next step. If you are uncomfortable or you believe it's not for you, we will fully refund, so there is no risk on you. All the risk is on us There is no risk on you. So go ahead, take action now. And again, all the bonuses that we talked about are yours to keep, even if you decide not to move forward. So with that, Zephan, do we have any questions? Because I know we're going a little bit into overtime. I know we need to wrap things up. You got one question? No questions? All right, go ahead. Partner with Sherman. Take action now. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I know a couple people have put some stuff in the chat room. So one question that we got in here is, hey, Sherman, I don't live in Atlanta. I don't live in DC. Can you make this program work for me? Yes. Even if you don't live in one of our major cities where we have a team leader, you can still participate in this program. As I mentioned before, we had a member go through who lives in Sweden, okay? And he's learned how to do this investment thing, and he's now doing investment deals in America from Sweden. So what we teach, you can actually do online. So even if you don't live in one of the regions, one of the cities I talked about, we can still help you. And again, if you don't get at least one deal done during our 12 months together, I'll refund 100% of what you invested, and you get to keep everything and access to everything that you invested in. So all the risk is on us, all the risk is on me, there is no risk on you. All right? Zephan, any other questions before we get out of here? All right, thank you everybody, appreciate it. I hope that this has been valuable. Look forward to seeing you in one of our one-on-one sessions. Please go to partnerwithsherman.com, select option A or option B, put up a seat deposit, 100% fully refundable, and let's get on a Zoom call together to see what your next step should be. And most importantly, if you're going to do an earn it while you learn it, see what scholarship assistance, tuition assistance, and scholarships we can provide for you so that you can go ahead and get into this program. And again, if you do not like what they say, your seat deposit is 100% fully refundable. Sherman Ragland, God bless. Real Investors, talk soon. Bye.